This is a surprise live. It was not scheduled on our agenda for our CAMHPRO Live 5 and 5. I'm Andrea, the Executive Director of CAMHPRO, the California Association of Mental Health Peer-Run Organizations. But I'm here today as a peer, and as a peer, I worked previously at a wellness center here in Chico, the Iverson Wellness and Recovery Center. And today, sort of a special day. So I'm doing 5 and 5 from the front of the Chico Women's Center, where they're holding the Diverse Minds Journal release party. It's something very special to me because it's a project that I started back in 2015. The first book came out in 2015 or 2016, I can't remember. So I think we're on the 8th or 9th edition. I haven't been in charge of the program for a number of years, but it's still going. So very proud of it, and I still contribute every year. And what Diverse Minds is a journal that is published, a book that is actually published every year that contains writing and art, any kind of art from all around the North State, and now they've expanded statewide. So the Diverse Minds is a way for people to show what amazing things people can do even with mental health challenges, to show the community how amazing and talented our community is, but also to allow those people who feel like they can't, maybe accomplish what they want to, can still accomplish things themselves and be honored for the work and the creativity that they have and talents that they have. So we've also done other things. We had a release party, I think it was in 2018 or 2017, where we've had a release party in the community like this, but we also did one year where we had an art show upon release of the journal at the Museum of Northern California Art here in Chico. And so we had an art show and an art opening and a gala, and it was a really wonderful year. That was the last year I was working on the project. But if you do want to check it out, you can go on Amazon and purchase past editions of the Diverse Minds book and see some of the work that people have done. I've been published in every one so far. And I do have a story and artwork in this year's as well. So I'm excited to go in and get my copy. I'll try to get some interviews in for our YouTube video if anyone's available to talk about it here today. But this is sort of a surprise addition to our CAMHPRO Live 5 and 5. And so I'll see you on the other side. Thanks. Okay. Tell us a little about who you are.
Well, I'm Joan Goodrow, and this is about the 6th time that I've come here to read out of this wonderful anthology, and also just to enjoy the company.
All right, and so you have submitted writing to the Diverse Minds book?
Yes, I got the idea from Andrea Wagner. She was in the Writers Club with me. So then I decided, I had some poems. And the main thing is they had to center something about, for me, it was autism, because my autistic son made a difference to me and to my family. So I wrote about that. And I thought that would be of interest in Diverse Minds because it shows diversity.
And tell me a little bit about what writing means to your own wellness and your family.
Oh, I just need to write. I find if I go a little stretch without writing, it's really hard. I've lost a couple of really good friends recently this year, and I really couldn't come to terms with it until I started to write about it, and now I'm just beginning to be able to face the feelings that I have about it. And that's the way it is with so many things in my life, that when I write about them, they become part of my life.
And so what does being a part of this Diverse Minds journal and the writing coming together, what does that mean to you?
Well, I just love the idea that it's put together in an anthology, because you see the diversity, like Diversified Minds. You see the diversity of authors and what they write about. And with me, it's poetry, but with other people, it can be essays, it can be nonfiction, it can be stories. And it has something to do with our journey in life and the obstacles that we face and how we try to overcome them.
And so, have you been involved with the Iverson Center before, or before this, or was this just the only project you really worked on with them?
Well, I think I started when Andrea first put out the anthology. I was with the very first get-together, and it was in the office, basically, and from then on, they've had get-togethers and readings at Monca, and last year we had it at St. John's Episcopalian Church. So it's really a community project, and I enjoy meeting lots of different people.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for today, October 11th, 2023 edition of CAMHPRO Live 5 and 5. Today, our featured organization is Mass Social Services Foundation, and I am going to introduce you to their executive director in just a second. But if you are just tuning in for the first time, let me just tell you a little bit about 5 and 5. We have launched this campaign for many reasons. And one of the reasons we're doing this in October is because it's celebrating World Mental Health Day and also leading up to Global Peer Support Celebration Day, which is October 19th. So we want to do this for our peer community, but we also want our peer community to build community outside of our peer community. We want the greater world to know about all these peer-run organizations in California. I'm going to turn it to the executive director of our featured organization today. Okay, everyone, this is Gulshan. How do you say your full name?
Gulshan Yusufzai.
Yusufzai. Okay. And do you want to tell people a little bit, just a little teaser about your organization?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. And I want to just thank the CAMHPRO team, specifically Andrea and Katie, and everyone who's put effort into spreading awareness about peer support and the wonderful results it has and how it helps people all over the world. I am one of those individuals who's completely believe in the peer support movement, and I am with Mass Social Services Foundation. Mass SSF is a nonprofit that started in 2007, specifically to help those who are in need and can actually connect with those who can speak their language, look like them, and have, most importantly, the lived experience, as that is one of the main things in a peer support movement. And so we at MassF, our focus is on wellness and mental health. Our goal is to keep families together, and we serve the Middle Eastern, South Asian, and North African community. We, of course, serve, our services are open to all. However, we focus on this particular community because there are no services that are culturally, linguistically competent to help this community. And right now it's quite critical because Sacramento has become the top city in the United States with the highest number of refugees from Afghanistan, as well as, of course, there are refugees here in high numbers from Middle East that speak Arabic, Muslim and non-Muslim, Pakistan, India, and many other countries that represent these communities. So we have 9 programs that we provide to them, ranging from peer support to clinical, to services for seniors, for youth, and the first domestic violence shelter designed specifically for Muslim women, and a very big program for Afghan refugees. So I'm looking forward to working with CAMHPRO, and thank you so much.
Awesome. And if you see the sign in the back, these are
all of the different programs that they offer. And if you see, they offer training in 5 languages. So they have all of these programs. And you want to do like a screenshot if you want these phone numbers, if you're interested to learn more. And I'm just going to ask, well, Sean, what is your website if people want to learn more and want to get involved?
Yes, it's mas-ssf.org, or you could just simply Google us at Mass Social Services Foundation. You'll see our website. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram as well. You just simply put in MAS-SSF and you can get access to all the great work that we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. So with that in mind, if you like what they do and you want to show some support, drop a comment, share this with your friends, family, coworkers, all your network. And let's build community while we're on this journey. And I'll also say that if you like what CAMHPRO's doing with our 5 and 5, drop a comment, let us know, ask questions. We want you to be a part of this journey with us. And also, if you're able to, and you love what CAMHPRO does and you want to help us keep doing what we do, please consider going to CAMHPRO.org. That's CAMHPRO.org, and we have a donate button. A dollar or more, whatever you're able to give, will help CAMHPRO keep doing what we do. So thank you, everybody, for joining, and stay tuned for our 5 and 5 journey. Bye, everybody.
Mass Social Services Foundation is a nonprofit that focuses on the wellness and mental health of the Middle East and South Asian and North African community. We started in 2007 specifically because there was no place for these communities to go to talk about what they're going through, the challenges, given that their majority, if not all, are from war-torn countries and have faced lots and lots of challenges that have created lots of mental health issues for them. But then when they come to the United States, it doesn't really stop for the reason that you're integrating into a new system and starting a whole new life. But additionally, the Islamophobia that is unfortunately well and alive in the United States is also prevalent, and it really does affect our community in a large way.
Yeah, and so, I mean, always, but I mean, I know currently there's a lot of challenges too in the community with what's going on. Always, but there's a lot of war going on. And I'm sure that a lot of people come here and are so grateful to have that network of support, you know? Yeah, I mean, can you share a little bit about some of the services you offer and what that means to the people that come here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually have 9 programs, and the focus of all our programs is prevention and early intervention, and those 2 components are woven into all our programs. And our hope is to just keep families together with these 9 services. They range from a peer support program. In fact, the first peer support program called Shifa for today. Shifa means healing. The first peer support program in the United States for the Middle East and South Asian North African community. It was the first grant we got thanks to California Department of Public Health Office of Health Equity. We are going on to now start in 2016 this program, developing this program, and now it's extended to 2026. So as a result of this program, we have trained over 101 community members that are immigrants and refugees from these communities I mentioned to become peer support specialists and serve the community. Then we have our clinical program that we have restarted, and we're hoping to develop and have, and we have a therapist. The goal here is to, between the peer and the clinical, our community could come through the doors and actually see peer support specialists or a therapist or an associate to be able to get the needs met and the challenges that they have. Then we go into our seniors where we have a program called Al Afia for Wellness. Al Afia means wellness. So it's Alafia for Seniors, excuse me, is the full name. This is where we do an education component and fun activities, again, with the goal to prevent depression, isolation, and help with everything that has to do with aging. We have three programs focused on youth. The first one's Amala Youth Hope Line. Amala means hope. And this is a peer support phone line that's open 6 nights a week for youth. It's run by youth, and we have youth reach out and talk about anything that they're going through. And then we have our small youth advocacy program where we have youth understand what is advocacy and how to get up in front of decision makers to talk about the challenges that they're going through, given what their family have gone through and the intergenerational trauma that gets passed down as well. Then we have Shifa for Youth, which is another program for you to become peer support counselors and also provide educational workshops. And then 2 more programs. One is Amana House, which means trust. It's the first domestic violence shelter designed specifically for Muslim women. And we are partnering with my sister's house, who are the DV, domestic violence experts. And then lastly, we have a program called Umid for Afghans. Umid means hope again. The word hope is used a lot in our programs. But this program is pretty much everything that I've listed out can be offered to the Afghan program. And the Afghan program was developed in response to the recent collapse of Afghanistan that occurred on July 31st, 2021, when U.S. decided to get out of Afghanistan after 20 years. And so all our programs are provided in 5 languages: English, Arabic, Urdu, and the 2 Afghan languages, Dari and Pashto. And majority of my team, whether it's my board, staff, 15 plus, the 101 peer support counselors we have trained, they are all from the community, and they have lived through all these things and are ready to help the community.
Something we've heard from the community that we serve and just at large, and also it's been reflected back from state agencies, is that the peer community is mostly white. And
Yes.
and what you're doing contradicts that completely, right? So what does being like a peer support in this community, I mean, how is that the same?
Yeah, that's interesting you said that, because when I was prior to this position, I worked in another nonprofit that focused on peer support. In fact, that's where I learned about peer support for 5 years, and I became a fan and was able to connect on a personal level as a refugee, and I saw how important the peer work, peer support movement is to refugees, because a lot of refugees and immigrants have experienced so much trauma that they're at the brink of being clinically ill, but they're not quite yet there. And so peer support is, in my opinion and experience, a very good service for them to access, because this is where whatever they have encountered through war or being in the US or whatever challenges they've seen, they can access this service to have a pause finally and an interruption in everything that's been happening to say, hey, I have this issue, and be able to understand it. And what better than understand it from a community member who is trained as a peer support specialist. So in that way, it's very effective. In fact, our first program, Shifa for Today, we received funding from Office of Health Equity, California Department of Public Health, because Office of Health Equity has a program called California Reducing Disparities Projects, where they're focusing on what can underserved communities provide to their community. So again, non-white communities that can support their communities to access services and access services early on. And so Mass SSF recommended a peer support program, and as a result of that, we created our own curriculum to work with refugees, have our peer support specialists understand the concept of why it's important to understand trauma, how to deal with it, how to work with refugees, how to work with the LGBT community, along with the peer support skills that they already have from becoming a specialist, and utilize that along with the language, the cultural knowledge, and everything else, lived experience, to serve the people so they don't become clinically ill. With that said, We still have people, of course, who are clinically ill, which we, in that instance, we have our clinical program, which again requires someone who understands your background and language and culture. Yeah.
So along with that, I would love to talk for hours with you. I know we don't have time, but I know peer certification has been problematic for some people in this community. Can you speak a little bit to that, just because of the process has been kind of hard? That's what we've heard from people.
To be very honest, although we've trained over 101 community members to become peer support specialists, in terms of certification, we are still struggling. Specifically for the reason that MSF is at a level of growth, this next level of growth, with COVID and then the Afghan refugee collapse that happened. There is a lot happening in our community, and as MSF, since it's one of the few nonprofits that focus at this level of programming, we've had to really focus on providing services to the refugees, and so I've had to push, kind of stay back about with regards to the peer certification, but we will be getting into that. However, I have heard similar issues that have been addressed to us, but we are not fully into the focus of having our peer support specialists become certified at this point. But that's certainly one of our goals.
Yeah, and part of that I know is Medi-Cal billing, and that isn't a focus right now either, right? Like, are any of your programs billing Medi-Cal, or is it all?
No, it's not, but certainly as, it was wonderful to hear that California, focused on or signed on to the SB 803, I think it was, bill to be able, so we can move towards that. None of our programs are billing Medi-Cal right now, but certainly that's our focus. For one reason, which is the obvious, to have it sustained, because with grant funding, it's never secure. You never know what's going to happen. But the other reason is just so we continuously provide these services to the communities, since there's so much need, especially with the influx of refugees that have come into Sacramento. About 180,000 have come to the U.S. since July of 2021, and 36% of that are in Sacramento, and it's growing. And so there's a huge need, and this is just Afghan newly arrived refugees. We still have the existing Afghans that came in the 70s and 80s when the U.S. went into the country at that time to fight against Russia. But then we have a huge number of Arabs here. In fact, Arabic has become the threshold language in Sacramento, according to the county, I believe in 2017. And then we have Pakistani Indian community. So it's a huge community that really needs a lot of support and services.